The Tudors Dynasty Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Tudors Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Larson. Well, if you've been following the show for any amount of time, you know I have never been to England, but that is about to change. By the time this episode airs, I will finally have my feet on the ground in England. And today I am joined by my great friend and mentor, Melanie Taylor. Mel, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show again, Rebecca. This is great. I can't wait for you to be here. It really is 8 years since we first met. And certainly over the last few years, we've been through some great times, certainly exciting ones on the odd occasion as well. So what are you actually most looking forward to when you get here?
That's a tough question. First and foremost, I'm most looking forward to finally hugging you. I think that's probably the biggest thing after all these. I think we've sent so many virtual hugs over the years that now I can't wait to finally wrap my arms around you.
Yeah, just remember, I'm not quite as tall as I used to be.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I'm a giant, so I'm usually taller than everybody anyway.
I am the short ass in our family, by the way. I've got two sons, one 6'3", the other's 6'5".
Yes.
And whilst you're about it, ladies, they're both single.
We'll have to start a Tudors Dynasty dating profile.
I think that's a really great idea, and they don't cut people's heads off.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I guess other than giving you a hug and finally get to meet you in person, having that opportunity, I'm really looking forward to just immersing myself in the history and seeing all the old buildings and architecture. And of course, as I've said over the years, when I finally come upon a castle, I will run up to it and probably hug it and kiss it and embarrass everybody around me.
Yes, that's true. We English, you have to remember, we English are very staid about things like that. So the thing which I've always sort of remembered is years ago, I knew an Australian who had never been here before. And she knew more about England than I did. And it was a great education to go around with her, because I thought, oh, yeah, well, we grow up with this stuff. You know, my church down the road is a 12th century church. Yeah, we got a couple of those. We got one down the road, got another one just up the other road. And just down from me, we've got a Roman villa on the common. And my neighbor Hilary, who you'll meet, she dug up a Neolithic arrowhead, flint,
wow.
in her garden.
And you just take it for granted that it's all around you.
We just take it for granted. Just take it for granted. You know, if you drive down to Cornwall or Devon, you pass Stonehenge. Yeah, it's 5,000 years old. Yeah, right. Okay.
No biggie.
No biggie. No biggie. We've got lots of those.
And where I'm from, really the oldest stuff that you come across here is maybe mid-19th century. So quite a difference.
Almost as old as my house.
See? So I'm really looking forward to seeing old churches too. I have this obsession with church steeples. So I have a feeling that I'll be photographing some beautiful ones while I'm there.
Oh, in that case, I'm going to have to take you down through Sussex, because the Sussex steeple is very, very obvious. You can tell what a Sussex steeple is. And they're not covered usually with slate. That would be a modern thing. They're covered with shingle, i.e. cedar pieces, which can be anything up to 200 or 300 years old. They regularly renew them about every 200 or 300 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I love about church steeples, and being from here, obviously church steeples still had the same idea behind them, where they were the tallest thing around so that those who were coming to worship could find them easily.
Same here.
Yes. And so when I come upon one that I think is absolutely beautiful, I'm such a nerd. I love to stand at the base of it and look up and take a picture from that view to try and imagine what it used to be like when there weren't taller buildings around it.
That shows a huge imagination. Your mind's going to be blown away by this. Just down the road from here, there is a church on which I'm going to have to take you to, because one of the Seymour women married into there, and she's up on a family tree.
Oh. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
origins. So parts of that nearly 1,000 years old.
This is amazing. I don't
So,
even.
and it's flint and brick.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so that's, but I went down there last year, and we were sort of trogging around looking at various bits, and Hillary came up to me and she said, "Hey Mel, look at that." And there's this Seymour name up on this thing, and we took photographs. I think we sent it to you.
Yes, you did.
So that's literally 10-20 minutes down the road from here. We pass a vineyard on the way
Oh,
through.
oh, that's trouble. You know me and wine. Sometimes things might get a little out of hand.
All right, well, we'll stop off at Denby's then. And that's built because if the Romans were here nearly 2,000 years ago, that's actually built on the site where they think where the Roman vineyards were.
Oh, wow.
And the buildings where, they've got the canteen, they've got the exit through the gift shop, all of that sort of stuff. And that's built on the sort of design of a Roman villa, which, and the other place I'm going to take you to is my friend Lucy, who has a house which is the oldest house in Leatherhead. The modern bit dates from 1510.
Modern, huh? Wow.
And there's an Anglo-Saxon minster referred to in the Domesday, and they think it's the large rectangle in the middle of their lawn.
No way.
Yeah.
So,
And it's quite astounding. And Lucy's an amazing character because she runs an art gallery which specializes in blacksmiths and that wrought iron, and it's quite astounding. And they give lessons in blacksmithing. So I've often thought it would be good fun to go down there when I'm particularly angry and go bang.
that would be cathartic for anybody, I think.
And that's at the highest point round here.
Wow.
So, it overlooks the sort of area that you'd have been able to see the Roman legions marching up and then William the Conqueror coming up. And we know that there are all sorts of Tudor stuff around there as well. In fact, my pub 50 yards across the car park is a Tudor pub.
I'm so looking forward. I feel like I've been waiting for this trip for half of my life, and I'm so excited that it's finally here.
It's an ambition fulfilled.
Yeah.
And where are you hoping to visit?
Well, of course, I want to go to all the places that everybody goes when they visit England. I want to go to the Tower of London, of course, and I definitely want to see Hampton Court Palace. There's a few other places I want to see. Some of them are places that I'll be visiting that haven't had much attention over the years that I'm going to keep to myself until after I've been there.
We will reveal that later. Possibly on a daily diary, maybe not. You'll be too busy.
Yeah, I would love to do a daily diary. So we'll just have to see if I can find time, even if it's just recording something on my phone in the car. Yeah. At least it'll be something, because I know I'm not the only one who this is a dream come true to be able to go to England and see this history I've been studying for so long. And I would love to take everyone on this journey with me. And hopefully someday, if you're listening and it's a dream of yours too, you can make it happen.
I tell you what I'd like to see. You getting to know England really, really well and probably hosting one of those tours.
That would be a lot of fun, I think.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? Taking them to places which are less known. That would be good.
Yes, because we hear of the same places over and over and over, right? But some of these things that I'm going to be experiencing in the next few weeks are once in a lifetime. Honestly, when I heard about some of these, I so badly want to tell everybody, but I'm not going to. But one of the things that I'm doing is something you've never heard of before. And for me, I'm most excited to experience this. And I can't wait to share it with everybody because it's so unique. And I guess that's as far as I can go with that.
But the one thing we can say, because it's out there on the internet anyway, is that you and I are going to be at the Wolf Hall weekend.
Yes, yes. So
Uh,
if you've been following the show for any time, you started learning about this last June. I started talking about the Wolf Hall weekend. So yeah, that's coming up fast.
that's going to be quite interesting because you're finally going to meet Beth Norton.
Yes, Dr. Elizabeth
Lauren.
Norton. Yeah, yes, these people have been on the show many times, and to finally meet them in person, it's a great opportunity.
Well, one of the places I am taking you to is before we do the Wolf Hall weekend is Penshurst. We're going to go off down to Penshurst and we're going to be meeting Linda Porter.
Oh, I cannot wait to meet Linda. She's another one who's been on the show for
Yeah.
multiple times. Yes.
And she's got a book coming out.
Yes, on Margaret Tudor.
Now I find, yeah, she's a fascinating character, and I'm looking forward to meeting Linda in person too.
I
Which,
am too.
but Penshurst, I don't think anybody's described Penshurst, and it's years since I've been down there, because of course it's still in private hands.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, it belongs to the Delisle family,
Mm.
and it's got a really good archive down there, which for me is, I want to dive in there. But you're going to really, really love it because it's like stepping back in time.
I cannot wait. I don't know how I'm going to sleep at night.
We'll find a way.
Maybe
We don't have aircon, but we got awful weather at the moment.
Yeah, that's the big difference, isn't it? So I'm going to be leaving the upper Midwest where the weather has been beautiful lately, sunny and 70s, sometimes 80s. But you
Ugh.
guys are having much different weather there right now, aren't you?
Well, we had a frost the other night.
Yeah.
Unheard of. We were in the grip of a polar. Well, I don't know. If it was November, we'd have snow, which in the south of England is not good in June, certainly. But
No.
luckily we haven't got that, but we've had an enormous amount of rain.
Yeah.
So luckily I've got lots of golfing umbrellas.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, when I looked at the weather for the first week that I'm there, it shows about 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
And rainy.
Yep.
So not ideal, but I can handle the cooler temperatures. I'm from Minnesota, so I can handle anything.
You can handle that. Just remember, if it does get hot, we don't have any aircon.
Yeah, that I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, my car has got windy windows. It's even though it's 2012. So that's the aircon. You just wind the window down.
Yes. Like you have the old hand crank windows?
Yep.
Wow. Yep. I haven't had a car with one of those in a long time.
Yeah. All I can say is, it's reliable.
I'm stepping back in time in more than one way.
Oh, definitely. It's not quite the Flintstones, but close.
No hand crank windows, no air conditioner in the vehicle, no air conditioners in the car.
Yeah, it does
or
have
in
a
the
radio
house.
and it does have sat nav.
Well, that's good.
Which is good. Especially since we've got to get to the Wolf Hall weekend.
Yes. Yes. I'm so very much looking forward to this trip and meeting so many people I've talked to over the years. And
so when you said the Tower of London, are there any special places within the tower that you want to go to?
Well, really, I'm most interested in Thomas Seymour, right? So I want to see any of the places he could have been within the tower. If there's a cell that they can show me that's similar to where he stayed, that would be fantastic. Honestly, any of it.
Did he do any, do we know, did he do any graffiti like the Dudley Boys did?
Not that I'm aware of. No, when I have contacted the tower before, they don't really have anything in their records about him other than the fact that he was executed and he is buried somewhere within the church on site.
Right, so he's joined the rest of the headless mob in St. Peter's Ad Vincula.
Yeah, and I look forward to going to that church as well, just to be near him.
it is a lovely church, and it's surprisingly, it's actually got quite a peaceful atmosphere to it. Maybe that's because all their heads ended up on spikes and they weren't going to speak. But
Right.
less frivolity about that.
Let's not think about their heads on spikes
Yeah,
while we're there. I imagine a lot of these places that I've seen over the year in video or in pictures, when I get there, they will seem much smaller to me.
yes, or indeed possibly bigger.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming that you're hoping to go to Wolf Hall.
I am hoping to go there. So fingers
You know,
crossed.
it's just lumps in the ground at the moment.
I know, but wouldn't it be amazing to be able to stand on the ground where the Seymours lived and walked and look around and see what they saw when they lived there?
And of course, that is out in the English countryside. So you can imagine them sort of, and the king riding up with his entourage and their house, there's great finery and all the horses and the carts and the hangers on and the
Yeah.
the servants rather, all going, oh God, not got to put another bed together, have we? You, I mean,
Yes.
all of those wagons and things, quite incredible.
Right. And those wagons didn't have shocks in them back then.
Nope.
I think about, for example, even Catherine Parr riding to Sudley Castle when she was pregnant, how uncomfortable that must have been for a pregnant
Mm.
woman.
Yeah, they were tough. They
Yes,
really were tough women, weren't they?
they were much tougher than I would be, I think, present day.
Oh yeah, count me in as a wimp.
I'd be like, can I have a few extra pillows to sit on? Because I am very uncomfortable right now.
Oh, did how many miles did they do per day?
Oh gosh. What did
I
we
know
figure out?
riding it was
Maybe,
about
maybe
20.
about, yeah, I think probably about maybe 20 with the carriage, though. I don't know
I know
if,
about that.
yeah. So let's say maybe 10 to 20 a day.
Yeah, sitting on something with no springs or any form of suspension, you're going to have an awful lot of cushions.
Yes. And I like to imagine Catherine Parr riding with Lady Jane Grey together, you know,
Yeah,
reading books or discussing religion or whatever they may have done at the time.
definitely out of earshot of Henry.
But well, yes, he was dead, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
excitement Catherine must have had to be going to this castle where she was going to have their daughter and to be able to spend that time there with Thomas and Jane and all of her ladies and her household. I can only imagine the excitement.
Yeah, you forget. Well, I certainly, I'm not a, I've forgotten about the Jane Grey being in Catherine's entourage. I mean, that's something completely different.
Yeah.
Which, um, yeah, because it's a lovely part of the country. It really is. It's beautiful, bit hilly, but
Imagine riding there.
yeah, yeah. I've been up there a couple of times, and it's well, not to Sudeley itself, but Gloucestershire. And as you drive through the English countryside, we're managing to restore quite a lot of our wildlife. So there are a lot of kites and other, kestrels and other birds of prey, which of course we'd have had lots of them in those days.
Yes.
No wolves or bears because they went extinct,
Yes.
but red squirrels, no grey squirrels because they came over thanks to the Victorians.
Yeah.
But lots and lots of deer, rabbits.
You know,
They came over with the Normans.
speaking of
Um,
all those animals, if we get to go to Wolf Hall, I very much look forward to seeing Sabernac Forest and what remains of it.
okay. I think
Because
it's more in
back
the
in the
name than it
day,
is in the tree.
yeah, I was like, back in the day, Wolf Hall Manor was just outside of Sabernac Forest because they were the wardens of it.
Yeah,
And I know it's much smaller
expensive.
now than it
Yeah.
used to be massive, but it's much, much smaller now than it used to be.
Long before, I think, long before the days of history, it's believed that you could actually a squirrel could get from one side of the country without ever getting down to the ground.
Oh, wow.
because it was so wooded.
Not anymore, huh?
No. We've got an awful lot of concrete. We've got a huge number of motorways and stuff, and an awful lot of protests as well, as they want to put a new one in.
I can't. Yes, I can't. I very much look forward to driving in the English countryside.
I'm not letting you loose in my car. We drive on the proper side of the
Yeah,
road,
I
not
don't
the
want to
wrong
drive.
one.
I don't want to drive there. That's the last thing. I would panic every time I got behind the wheel. It would be better that I do not drive there.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
I will be a happy passenger. I'll probably
Oh,
just be
excellent.
staring out the window with my jaw down the entire time, just soaking it all in.
Hooray!
Yeah, so I,
So,
I will be in England for quite some time, actually. So I'm very much looking forward to soaking in as much of the English history as I possibly can while I'm there.
well, of course, you are going to be experiencing a general election as well.
This is true. I don't know how much I'll be paying attention to that, if I'm being honest.
Well, it depends. It depends how many more gaffes any more of these MPs can make. I mean, that's giving our comedians an awful lot of material to work with.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure you'll be filling me in on everything as it goes along. It won't mean much to me, obviously, since I don't live there, but it'll be interesting nonetheless.
Well, I have to say that this household also follows the American elections as well, so we're enjoying some of that sideshow.
Yes, yes. We have some of that going on, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so you'll get. Do you think you want to go to Westminster Abbey?
I would love to go to Westminster. What a
Right.
great piece of history. I mean, there's so much there.
Yeah.
If that's
Um,
in the cards, if we can make that happen, that would be amazing.
yeah. I know we've got the tower scheduled in, and also down because the tower at that part of London, you would just have to make sure that Nigel, who will also be involved in your London trip, doesn't just think it's a good idea to walk from Trafalgar Square to the Tower of London.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll do it by tube,
that's fine by me. That'll be a new
or
experience.
or one of the open top buses where you sort of can go round and hop on and hop off, and it takes you around all the historic parts of London. So you can take your notebook out and say, right, I want to go back to Buckingham Palace
Yeah.
or the
Yes.
NA.
You know what? You know what, Mel? I am just going to be open to whatever adventure comes my way while I'm there. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. Is just let whatever happen happen.
Yeah, and of course, you're going to be here when the exhibition at the National Portrait Gallery opens.
Yes, the National Portrait Gallery was top on my list of places I also wanted to see and to have the opportunity to go there. I'm so looking forward to that as well. Finally getting to see these paintings we've talked about.
Well, they've got this massive exhibition which opens next week of 6 screens. Well,
Yes.
that's going to be an interesting one.
What perfect timing for me to arrive, huh?
Were you talking to them and arranging this so that it coincided?
I did, yeah. I was like,
Oh,
could you guys
excellent.
make this happen? And they said, for you, Rebecca. No, I didn't. I didn't. I wish I had that kind of pull, but I don't.
Right.
Yeah, so this trip, it's an adventure of a lifetime, and I'm very much looking forward to immersing myself in the history of England that I've been studying for so long and having the opportunity to meet all of these people that I've spoken to via Zoom or, however I've spoken to them over all these years. It's just I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited.
Well, I can't wait for you to get here, and I think you're going to have a fantastic trip. I think the Wolf Hall weekend is going to be quite an experience too. Which,
Yes.
and for those of you who don't know about the Wolf Hall weekend, all the tickets are sold, unfortunately, and it's not actually going to be zoomed or recorded either. So, but we'll tell you all about it.
We will. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff happening there. So yes, we'll touch base and we'll talk to some of the people who will be there. Like you mentioned, Dr. Elizabeth Norton and Dr. Lauren Mackay will be there. And
Emmett McCulloch.
yes, hopefully we'll get an opportunity to speak with him because he has never been on the show.
No, I think that's about time. That was definitely changed. And of course, the person who owns the wonderful Cadhay house,
Yeah.
Rupert. I think we
Yes.
need to interview him because his family have owned that house since William Powlett, one of his ancestors, owned it. So a key person of Elizabethan history.
Most definitely. Yeah, we're going to run across a lot of people. We'll have some surprises along the way for you as well.
Oh, we definitely have some of that.
There's one I'm very much looking forward to, but I'm not going to tell you now. Well, Mel, I don't know if you have any other questions for me. I think we pretty much covered everything for now.
I think we have. Hopefully, your listeners will get an idea that this is going to be a fun trip, except possibly for the weather.
Yes, but whatever. You know, the weather is the weather. You can't change it.
Don't
So we
change that.
just have to make the best of it. Well, as long as we have an umbrella along, we'll be fine.
Brilliant. Anyway, looking forward to seeing you when you get here.
I am very well. When this airs, I will already be there. So
You will.
if you're following along, be sure to check in. You'll probably find some stuff posted to my social media. You'll probably find some shorts posted on YouTube as well. That's probably where I'll do my video diary. If I'm going to do one, I'll just do some YouTube shorts. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys. Speak to you soon and see you on Thursday. Bye.
The Tudors Dynasty Podcast.